Think about Mimecast. So you have, on one end of the spectrum, you have everything in-house on servers, blinking lights and such. On the other end, you have Office 365, and somewhere nicely placed in the middle is Mimecast. We are a cloud solution. We do what we call unified email management, which includes email continuity, email security, as well as email archiving, and additional features beyond that that I clearly do not have enough time to run through. So my name is Tim Foley. I flew out here from Boston a couple days ago, and I'm appreciating your Southern California weather. It's certainly not warm. So a couple advantages of the cloud. I'm actually going to run through these, and we're going to get into a demonstration. But controlling costs associated with email, for everything that Glenn touched upon, nothing on-prem. You can consolidate multiple peripheral solutions into one admin console, into one environment that's really not, you don't have to worry about powering that up. You don't have to worry about dedicating a server to it on the back end. Reducing maintenance from an admin level. It's no longer your job to do patches or updates. You're now sourcing that out to a solution. And then email continuity. You don't need that full DR site. You don't need to replicate everything out to that. There is no 3 a.m. wake-up calls for you to make sure that's happening. With Mimecast, you have automatic failover as well as automatic failback, and we'll see that in the demonstration. All right, so fears of the cloud. Fears of the cloud dispelled by Mimecast. So I work primarily within law firms. We have about 350 law firms currently running us in the United States, and we've been running Mimecast in the US for about 3 years now. So our growth is it's pretty impressive in that vertical. A lot of these fears that I come in my conversations with law firms, we always have to jump these certain hurdles. Number one, losing control. A lot of administrators are afraid that they're going to lose the customization on the back end. However, with Mimecast, the administrator has full control over their environment with a web-based console, an admin console. You have multiple layers of administrative rights. For that, we can also work with you depending on what policy, depending on what back-end setup you have, but we can customize that to your liking with our service delivery team. Second aspect is no one wants to be reliant on a vendor. Ordinarily, it's your job to fix things, and you do a damn good job at fixing those things. It's now, when you have that no longer on your plate, there is some trust involved in that. There's also a point where we could hold your data hostage. There's a company that I compete against too often. Actually, Glenn competes against them as well, that when they archive your data and you no longer want them to archive your data, you have to jump through multiple hoops to get out of that contract. There's money involved, there's time, etc., etc. Mimecast addresses that by merely contractually putting it into words how you'd get that data back. We don't want your data if you don't want to use us anymore. That doesn't help us. Third aspect, security. Where is your data stored? Who has access to that data? Client confidentiality, obviously a driving force behind this in the legal vertical, financial vertical. You have SEC regulations, healthcare vertical, HIPAA, etc., etc. We address that by storing everything in AES 256-bit encryption, both at transit and at rest. And our view from Mimecast is we're merely the custodians of your data. If we were to access that for whatever maintenance, we'd have to ask for your permission. What we would see is encrypted, all gobbledygook. We don't care what you have. We're merely custodians at that level. And then lastly, the e-discovery implications. How much data we have, what would happen if we were ever served? What would we do for your data? Going back to we're the custodians of your data. We don't access it. It's fully encrypted and owned by you. So quickly going through the infrastructure, we frankly don't care where your Exchange environment lies. We wrap around Exchange via MX Record redirect. Do we have any Postini users here? Yeah, don't be ashamed. You can raise your hands. So very simple, MX Record redirect. As it goes through our cloud, we do a bit more than Postini does. We're archiving everything in triplicate, both inbound, outbound, as well as internal. We're offering data leak prevention on the outbound. We can do attachment, strip, and link based on size limits. We can do something called closed circuit messaging when you can't establish that TLS connection to an outbound recipient. We can send something via a secure channel as well, and many other things. But what to take from this quick run through is that we don't care where your exchange is. You can have multiple domains. We can act as a routing. We're really bridging that gap as a cloud provider. We're sitting in the middle. You can keep your exchange on-prem, you can go hosted, and still redirect everything through us, and we do our job at that level. Any questions up to this point?
Yeah, you talked about Postini. So Postini does obviously filtering and spam and virus control. Do you guys do that too?
Yes. We have SLA, 100% antivirus, 98.5% anti-spam. Obviously, spam is subjective, and I'll go through a quick